Hey everyone, Beeblebum here, welcome back. Today we're going to be diving into a comparison between the new Prototech Gyroscope and the older version, the vanilla version in Space Engineers. This is something I've been really curious about, and I'm sure you have as well, especially when it comes to performance and efficiency. So let's jump in and see if the new gyroscope really lives up to the hype. The first thing we want to do is a visual and structural comparison, as the Prototech Gyroscope definitely has a much sleeker look with the animated spin that makes it look really cool. On the structural side, there is a massive difference, as the regular gyroscope only has one mounting point at the base, while the Prototech Gyroscope will have possibilities to snap it on all sides. Now, there is of course a catch to the Prototech version, as it requires advanced building materials, and one of these materials, the Prototech frame, is not craftable, which means you will have to find it in the game world, which makes building these gyroscopes more challenging or rewarding depending on how you look at it. For the first test, we're going to focus on large grid gyroscopes. I built a large grid that weighs about 5 million kilograms using the artificial mass blocks and batteries. Now, to keep everything consistent, I have prepared one Prototech and 6 regular gyroscopes, and we will be testing them on the same grid. Up front, there is a GPS point that we'll use for calibration to measure how long it takes for the ship to rotate a full 360 degrees. All the gyroscopes are set to a maximum yaw override, which will rotate the grid around its horizontal axis. I'll be enabling these gyroscopes in stages to see the difference between them. So let's start with one regular gyroscope and turn on the override to set it as a baseline. The time for one full rotation with one gyroscope, a regular one, was 23.02 seconds. So let us now disable the regular gyroscope and enable the Prototech version instead and activate the override again. Alright, as you can see, the Prototech version is definitely faster, only taking 7.42 seconds to reach full rotation. So now that we know that, we can now try to match that speed by adding more gyroscopes to it. So we're going to start with 2 gyroscopes and enable the override. Alright, that's definitely still not there, 14.41 seconds. So let's add another gyroscope to it. Three gyroscopes in total. We got 11.32 seconds for the full rotation. Let's try a fourth one. So that's now 4 gyroscopes. This resulted in 9.47 seconds. So we're definitely getting closer to that Prototech timing. But I noticed as well that the time is starting to diminish over time. You see, the more I'm adding, the less time I'm gaining. Anyway, let's try 5 gyroscopes. Five gyroscopes is giving us 8.27 seconds. All right, let's add another one. That should be 6 gyroscopes. I think that is the one. Finally, with 6 regular gyroscopes, we match 7.40 seconds. That's the speed we have now for the Prototech Gyro as well. However, as you might have noticed, each additional gyroscope that we added a smaller and smaller improvement to the rotation speed. So these results are highlighting one of the major strengths of the Prototech Gyroscope, and that is acceleration. It reaches the optimal rotation speed much quicker. Either way, this means that for the same rotational power of a Prototech Gyroscope, you will need 6 times the space and the power requirements that are used for the regular gyroscope. It is worth noting the power consumption, as both the regular and the Prototech gyroscopes are requiring 10 kilowatt, meaning that with 6 regular gyroscopes you'll need 60 kilowatt compared to the Prototech 10 kilowatt. This is what makes the Prototech version a much more efficient option. Now, I also prepared a small grid version so we can test that out. The small grid is weighing about 500 tons, again with artificial mass blocks and batteries. I set up 1 Prototech gyroscope and 9 regular small grid gyroscopes, and we're going to start with 1 small grid again and see how long it takes using the GPS point. Alright, so 1 regular gyroscope is taking 12.48 seconds to do a full rotation. Let us now compare that with the Prototech gyroscope. So let us disable the regular one and enable the Prototech gyro instead. The Prototech version again is much faster, 3.33 seconds. So now we're just going to have to check how many small grid gyroscopes it's going to take to match that speed. Now, if we calculate what we just did with the large grid, I think we will need 5 regular gyroscopes, small grids, to test this and see if we get to the same speed. Okay, so we got 5.03 seconds with 5 gyroscopes. Let's add 3 more. Let's go for 8 gyroscopes instead and see how that goes. 8 gyroscopes result in 3.59 seconds, so that's still not there. So I'm going to add 1 more gyroscope, that's the 9th one, and let's test it again. 3.43 seconds, that's just not enough. So I'm going to have to add a 10th gyroscope to the block here. That's going to add a little bit of weight, but I think we should be okay. And let's also put the override on that and then test it out. All right, here we are, 3.33 seconds. That's as good as the same time as the Prototech gyroscope. My God, it took 10 regular small grid gyroscopes to match the Prototech gyroscope's speed. So similar to the large grid test, we can see that the additional gyroscopes continue to contribute less and less to the overall performance. So I think this is where, again, the Prototech gyroscope is shining, is the acceleration it goes to that rotation speed. Once again, the power efficiency is evident. Each small grid gyroscope is using 2 kilowatt. So for 10 gyroscopes, that's 20 kilowatt compared to the Prototech 2 kilowatt in general is a massive efficient difference. So there you have it. The Prototech gyroscope is not only much more powerful, it's also far more efficient in terms of power and space. It takes 6 regular large grid gyros or 10 small grid ones to match the single Prototech version of them. Now, I'm sure some of you already have suggestions on how I could have tested this differently, and I'm always open to feedback. This is just what made sense to me as a way to understand the new tech. Now, this will be my last test for a little while. I have to go and pack my bags and head off on a holiday, but when I'm back, I'm going to look into testing more of these Prototech blocks. If you found this video helpful, make sure to hit that thumbs up. I really appreciate it, and it will help my channel out. And I see you next time. Thanks so much for watching. Beeblebum out.